Well, welcome to the Karina Aster Alchemy community. This is Karina Aster. So good to have you. And this is the month of May and the full moon energy. I will be talking about Chinese astrology as well as the sidereal astrology. So yeah, not Western astrology. So just know that the placements will be different. The sun is still in Aries. I will be getting to that shortly. But yeah, we are in the May month of the snake, the Yin Metal Snake, and we're in the snake year. For 2025, in February, we began the Yin Wood Snake year, and this is such an exciting time. This is a lot of transformation. It's a lot of creativity. The snake really wants to adapt. It's very reflective. It's good at going within and becoming self-aware and then it's also great at strategizing and planning. And so, we can really lean into all of these things, not only this entire year, but especially this month. Snake energies working together don't have any um, negative, kind of clash energy, so to speak. However, the yin metal and the yin wood are a clash for the month, and so this will bring more transformation. But again, clash just means change, and change is needed. And so we all have at least 2 months out of the year where we have more of a clash with our animal in our chart. We have four different animals in the Chinese astrology. So, of course, there are, four different months that we could potentially have clashes depending on, again, where, um, you want to look at things. But yeah, so anyway, that's a little bit getting out into the weeds. I'll have to show you guys a Chinese astrology chart. In my next video, I will work on that. So, but I'm going to show you guys the sidereal astrology here shortly. And we'll look at the aspects that are happening right now in the sky and then for the full moon. But yeah, so a metal snake is not only very intuitive like all snakes are, but it's really able to attract in a lot of abundance. It is able to just, attract in more influencers and be an influence. And hopefully for the positive, right? So let's lean into that. And then, yeah, also, I mean, a snake is very ambitious. It's kind of known as like, again, the little dragon. We just moved out of that dragon month. Sometimes that dragon is a little bit ferocious. We definitely had a ton of energies changing too last month. So, again, I'll share more about that with the sidereal here shortly. But yeah, it was a huge, powerful month, just like dragons will bring, just so much change. And every April, typically, we're having the eclipse end of March, beginning of April, that the eclipse energy is even if it's not technically during April, if it's only during March, we're still continuing to feel that, the ramifications or that energy pulsating out into April. And so, yeah, we're in a very transformative time. This is definitely why I have continued to see that sidereal astrology really makes a lot of sense for me because we all love to hear that Pluto is in Aquarius in the Western astrology system. And don't get me wrong, I was all about it when that change happened. And, I guess just as I have kind of fallen into more of my as much as I'm very optimistic, I'm also a realist and just seeing like, it takes a while for systems to crumble. And, Pluto is the, Lord of Hell. It is the one that is the great transformer, and that it can, take time for these systems to come crashing down and or to be, reformed, reimagined, rebuilt. And, we will continue to see this over the next 15 or more years. So while Pluto continues to be in Capricorn, so as much as I would love to, say, oh, we're in Aquarius. I mean, I do still think we are in the age of Aquarius. And so, I think that's why that resonates so much for people. But yeah, anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent in the sidereal again. But yeah, so this month of the snake, it began on a Yongwood dog destruction day. And destruction sounds scary and terrible, but really it is again able to be a problem solver. And so again, just leaning into the same thing with that creativity that the snake brings. Snakes are also about a rebirth. They offer us that ability to regenerate. There's this alchemy, this, medicine is related to it, this healing capability. So, it's such a powerful symbol and energy for us to be working with. And so I'm really excited about it, especially again from talking in my last video so much on this Lilith square Pluto and Mars that is also continuing. So, and then the wood dog day beginning with that energy, the wood energy, uh, again is going to be, um, a clash, so that's just going to bring more change. But the wood, um, dog is also, very grounded, and a dog is really going to help us to make connections, to really build on our loyalty. And, so we can lean into looking for those that are loyal to us and creating more connections or appreciating those loyal friends and seeing, how that can help us solve our problems. So there is something to be looked at in that arena. Yeah. So I, yeah, I'm feeling very positive about this month. And so yeah, now I'm going to switch over to the sidereal. And I want to, before I show my screen, actually, I want to talk backwards just a little bit. Today I'm filming this on the 9th, and we are approaching that full moon on the 12th. So we are coming into that waxing. We've been in this waxing energy. We're coming into that full moon energy already. I can definitely feel it, see it. It was like the moon last night was like a flashlight against the roof of my house. It was very fascinating to walk and watch it go across it. We have a metal roof, and just that reflection was so bright, and it was really kind of fascinating. I've been in a super creative mode, writing lots of poetry. So anyway, I got lots of I've been getting lots of good material as I'm out walking, and it's spring here. It's just a gorgeous spring. I'm calling this season the lilac season. These last few weeks, I'm renaming them the lilac weeks. I really enjoy reading, and I have a book club, and so um, we had a Chinese literature book last month, or for earlier in the year rather, that we just finished up. About a month or so ago, and it was, yeah, just talking, the Chinese talk a lot about the different yeah, the seasons and all the things. I'm a Chinese medical practitioner, I'm a Chinese astrologer, so yeah, so this is the lilac weeks, I'm dubbing it. So I hope that you are enjoying the lilacs if they're in your neighborhood, and if not, if you can find some, I'd be happy to share if you're local. So anyway, I also wanted to share about, let's see, yeah, we had a couple of things. We had Chiron move into Aries on May 3rd. And so we are, going to be possibly feeling some new beginnings with something in our healing. And also then on the 7th, Chiron and Mercury conjuncted, and Mercury went into Aries on the 7th. It has been in Pisces where it's been debilitated. So it was very happy to cross over that threshold just a couple days ago. You may have already been noticing that you are being able to think more clearly. You may be able to, speak more clearly, being more assertive. Also, just with that conjunction, it was really fascinating. It was literally almost the day of, if not the day before the conjunction, that I just had some really great healing epiphanies. So that might be kind of fun for you to look at around again, that 7th. And then, yeah, we were also experiencing on the 6th that Pluto and Mars opposition continuing. And so, again, I mean, we're in the spring energy still. So we are having that young energy rising. It can affect our liver, which can bring about anger and resentment, frustration. coming to the surface more quickly. And even if we're not really that angry or frustrated, it can still kind of bubble up. Like all of a sudden, you're just like, wow, I thought I was balanced. And then you just might have a day of just feeling like, you know, just little things are just agitating you. And you're just like, wow, I feel like I could just bite someone's head off for no reason. And so that's just, again, that liver yang rising, we call it. And so we want to work to sedate the liver. So bringing in grounding foods, so root vegetables, and also the sour foods are helpful for liver. And then also, though, to counteract sour, we want to bring in some sweet, but we want to use the full sweet flavor. So not like a lollipop or something, but actually the things like the apples or the sweet potatoes, any of the whole foods that you enjoy that have that sweet flavor. I know there's lots more that are coming into season, more in the near future of the fruits, but yeah, so we can keep working on that and just make sure that as Mercury is in Aries and it's ruled by Mars, we're really going to have to watch out for this tendency towards, okay, yes, it's great that we now have this ability to feel more assertive and to speak up more, speak our minds. And we don't want to become too aggressive, right? With that Mars energy. We don't want to start getting angry or volatile and reactive. So we will definitely have to keep that in check. And then I think I'm ready to share my screen, so give me one moment while I show this to you. If I can get the thing up, I thought I was already over here. And of course, I had to move something around before I got back in here. Here we go. Okay. And okay, good. I just want to make sure we're still recording. All right. So yeah, we again, the sun is in Aries. This is May 9th. I'm in Boise, Idaho. For those of you who are elsewhere, you can, of course, adjust this a little bit to your time zone. So I'm in Mountain Time. And yeah, with the sun being in Aries, that's always again a pioneering archetype. So we are still experiencing this energy to go forward and go into new adventures, new directions in life. And we have um, I think the most important thing that I wanted to share that was kind of today is that we have this opposition of Mars and the part of fortune in Capricorn. So this is kind of interesting because um, our part of fortune can have to do with destiny. And so there just could be this tension pull between something where it's like we're wanting to do something with Mars and, uh, yeah, being with our willpower, but then there's just like, okay, well, there's something else that we have to do. So just know there could be a little bit of a tug and pull here. So that's always kind of interesting. And then, we do still have the stellium in Pisces. There is not as many planets now that Mercury and Chiron have moved out of Pisces, but, we do still have Saturn, Neptune, Venus, and the North Node in Pisces. The North Node will be changing. I'm going to talk about that. It's changing in a week and a half, actually on May 18th. So that is pretty exciting and really huge. So I'm going to get to that in a moment, but we've had, all of this nice Pisces energy. And, what's interesting is that in evolutionary astrology, that Saturn is known as the Lord of Solitude, or it's also known as the Wizard. And so when Saturn is in Pisces, we may want to be more inward. We may want to really use that work towards, maybe becoming better in our spiritual endeavors, which I think is really awesome because Saturn is always about bringing us back to the self-discipline. And my chart is ruled by Saturn, and so I feel like this is just a very strong placement for me. Not just this, I'm just Saturn in general. Like, so I get excited about Saturn, as I've probably shared in other videos, whereas a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Saturn's all about the hard work, like work, work, work. who wants to work? I mean, but at the same time, of course, we all know that, yeah, we get the results from putting in the work. And of course, we don't want to work too hard either. Um, but yeah, so I love that the Lord of Solitude is in Pisces, where it's able to really hone into that energy of this, being ruled by Neptune, this where we're working on dissolving the ego. And so, what a beautiful thing for us to have this placement that just, Saturn just went into Pisces the beginning of last month. I can't remember exactly what date now. Um, Darn, I was trying to look at that here and my Zoom isn't letting me, but that's okay. I talked about it in my other video, but in my last video or the one before that. But yeah, so it's only been, just a little over a month maybe since Saturn has been in Pisces, and we're going to be experiencing this for, I think it's also about a year and a half, if I'm remembering right, or almost 2 years. And so anyway, yeah, I love that, of course. Now, also the really big thing about Mercury moving out of this stellium is that, Mercury rules the media and, information. And so before, when it was over here and it was, even for a while, it was conjunct Neptune or, just being again, just in Pisces, there was just so much cloudiness. And it was like, I was like, I am definitely not watching that. I mean, I'm not much to one to watch the news much, so I'm kind of out of the loop a lot. But I was like, I try to stay abreast of a few things. I don't want to like have my, self completely my head in the sand, but I also was just for a while like, this is not the time for me to put my energy there at all. Like, there's nowhere that you're going to really find truth. And now, yeah, just a lot of, again, some new beginnings in the last week, like new developments of like, wow, some really big, I think, truth coming out with, this Mercury placement in Aries. So I do think that, again, we always have to be careful of our news sources. And I am one to not trust mainstream media. So, if that is something that resonates with you, you're probably going to like my channel a lot. But yeah, and I think that even, whether or not you're looking at non-mainstream, I mean, there's definitely a lot of things out there that could be just a bunch of garbage as well. So just, be very aware of where you're getting your information as always, but do your research. And yeah, so I mean, this is definitely a time for us to be really looking at, yeah, speaking and being assertive and expressing ourselves, especially if we were holding back with something in the past. And this should help bring some healing into our life. So, especially if we do that, in a loving way. And yeah, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is that we've had, Uranus in Taurus for a little while now too. I mean, this happened this year. Hasn't been there for too long, but I think it was in March that we had Uranus move into Taurus, but I'm getting confused on my timeline. Sorry. It's been a long day, but yeah, that's okay. I know we've talked about it before. And so anyway, with Uranus in Taurus, remember Uranus is the disruptor and it can bring these shocking changes. And in Taurus, this is about our food system. This is about agriculture. This is about resources. And so, of course, we are seeing all of these changes with, food. And of course, with the tariffs, we're, definitely, there will be more changes ahead. So this will be interesting. We've been hearing for many years now to stock up, and this might actually be the time when you're like, okay, I'm really glad that I stocked up. And or if you haven't, this would probably be a good time to do that. And let's see what else. So let me jump ahead. Let's go ahead and get to the full moon energies. And so just a couple more days. And so the moon will be in Libra on for this full moon. Again, this is our sidereal placement. So this is where the planets are actually in the sky in the constellations. So this is more the true astrology. I do think that Western astrology makes sense. So I think that, they both can be held and held together. So if you want to keep watching Western astrology and watching here, I think that they can meld. I obviously studied Western astrology for many, many years. I have so many teachers, and I'm so grateful for all of the wisdom and knowledge. And I still, see truth there, even though I tend to stick in the sidereal realm a little bit more these days, or for the most part, I should say these days. So, but yeah, with the moon in Libra, with this full moon, we are going to be having a little bit of a dance of tension with the sun in Aries because Aries likes to move forward. It's the ram. It is a go-getter. It is decisive. It is fast moving, right? And so that's why it's like, oh, yes, Mercury is really, we're going to be able to speak quickly. We're going to be able to think clearly, quickly, all of these things. And so now with Libra, Libra can really also be this fence sitter. It doesn't always want to, make waves. It really likes to be the peacemaker. It wants to see the balance. It wants to bring in fairness. It wants to bring justice. And so, of course, this balance is really beautiful. And I've been talking a lot about balancing the masculine and feminine for a while. I mean, gosh, probably for many years, but especially obviously in my last video, I write blogs. And so if anybody follows me, you can also get on my newsletter list. I'll put a link for that, or you can find my blog on my website. And I'll put a link for that at the end here too, but you can follow along with my writings as well. But yeah, we are definitely in this time of really working on this balancing act anyway. And that is definitely going to be brought into the forefront. But yeah, so with that Aries and Moon, opposition, we are going to feel this like, okay, like we have to make changes. We have to go forward. And also, like, the sun has to do with the leaders. So I think that, a lot of us might be in the United States here that are watching my channel. I'd love to hear where you're from. So definitely put below if you're from somewhere else. And yeah, but, so it'll be interesting to see how, the US, but also other, countries, how other leadership things are handled during this time, because I think, this is a little bit of a um, not the easiest energy because, yeah, Libra just wants to really make everybody happy and being that peacemaker. And it just, it's gonna really struggle with the sun. And then that leadership is gonna want to be like, no, we're going forward. And then the moon is about the people, and we're kind of like collectively like, no, we need to keep the balance. Like, so there's gonna be a tug and pull going on here. We may see, yeah, I think a lot more protests and things. I haven't been keeping up on if that's been continuing, but I know there was a lot in April. And again, I don't know much about it because unfortunately, I don't really keep up on things. So I apologize if you look down on me. Sorry, not sorry, but that's, yeah, just kind of where I'm at in life. I think that, it's all about making the change internally personally. And that's why I'm very passionate about astrology, because this is where we get to know, like, okay, these are the energies that we can lean into, and this is how we get to make the change. So, as I had said in my last video, and please watch it because I'm not going to go into this in full detail, but we have been having this square of Lilith to Mars and Pluto. And actually, I mean, this started um, since like the beginning of the middle of March with the square to Pluto, with the square to Pluto, and then this is all going to continue for at least another week. And Lilith has been square to Mars since the beginning of April. So the square has been going on for a while. I just ended up finally talking about it. And yeah, so we are still in the midst of this. So definitely check out that video. But really, this is an opportunity for shadow work, and I just feel, very passionate about that. I do acupressure and body work, and I work with people with inner child healing sometimes in sessions, as well as I do ancestral energy clearing, and sometimes we are working on that in those as well. So yeah, I have a package that is my Transmute to Transform package. I'll also put a link to, you can check out more information on that on my website as well. But yeah, so this is, shadow work is something that I have been doing for a long time. I've been having to do a little bit of a deeper dive. As I had mentioned, I uncoupled last month, or maybe it was the end of March. I'm kind of losing the timeline now, but it's, becoming more easeful and feeling more, yeah, whole again and lighter as, these things, as time heals all. And so, but yeah, so basically I'm just sharing that because yeah, there's a lot of shadow work that I've had to do, and looking at like, my part in the ending of things and, wanting to look at, creating a healthy relationship in the future and how do I go forward and do that. So anyway, let's see if there was anything else. So with, yeah, this, um, okay, so yeah, we talked about the sun in Aries. And so, yes, of course, we have the sun conjunct Uranus. So again, um, I just think that there is going to be something possibly shocking happening with leadership. So, this, I mean, it's again, I just sometimes read headlines, so I'm not 100% out of the loop, but I'll read headlines on YouTube and places too. And so I don't really again know what's going on, but completely when I read those things. But I was already seeing like some writing on the wall of some changes with the US in leadership. And so that's kind of interesting. That could be coming as a shock to some people, but yeah, this just again, when something is conjunct Uranus, this is sudden surprises and shocking events, and this is going to affect leadership. So this is not the United States' chart, obviously. This is just the chart for all of us, and here just in Boise Mountain Time, Boise, Idaho. But yeah, so. But we do have this conjunction, so it'll be interesting to see, yeah, what kinds of things will happen. That's definitely, I really am trying not to be overly concerned, but we do want to be aware of, the food changes that are happening and just know that we really all have to get back to gardening and raising our own food and finding local farmers and supporting the farmer markets. And I mean, I feel like people already kind of know this that watch me probably. And even if we're not doing it yet, it's like something we're leaning into and towards more and more. But I think, yeah, it could be a little bit trickier to get food imported. So definitely keeping that in mind going forward. And, I've been seeing and feeling that I channeled that information like over a year ago, that I was just getting that, yeah, there's going to come a time when it's going to be really hard for us to get things from other countries for sure. So, yeah, I think it was about a year ago. I was on a road trip and, I get a lot of downloads when I'm driving. It's really interesting. It's like I channel the collective. I'll watch a lot of astrology, but then I get quiet and then I listen to music and then, yeah, downloads. It's pretty fascinating. So I'm actually getting ready to go on a road trip here soon. So I'll have to share when I do my next video what I learned. But anyway, thank you guys for sticking with me so far. I am really enjoying sharing all of this. We are almost in Taurus season on the 14th and 2 days after the excuse me, the full moon, the sun will be in Taurus. So we're almost there. I know it's a little bit tricky switching from the Western astrology to sidereal. And it's been taking me even a little while as well. So anyway, I hope that you're getting a lot out of this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear how things are going for you. I hope that, yeah, that you are being gentle with yourself, getting out and grounding to assist yourself in the healing, especially with these. Um, oh, I didn't mention one last thing. So we had Pluto station to go retrograde. I started to talk about it, but I just was kind of, went on the tangent of Pluto and Capricorn and the Capricorn energy versus Pluto and Aquarius. And I just want to say, oh, I've got two more things to say. I didn't even really get into the Rahu and Ketu. Okay. So yeah, thank you for sticking with me. Keep here if you can. I want to hear more, of course, but yeah, so but Pluto stationing, really intensified things. That was on May 4th. So we're a few days away from it, but we could still be feeling it. So just again, being very gentle with yourself. If you've been feeling some really big transformation that's been kind of shaking stuff up. Again, Pluto is known as the god of hell. It is not easy, and I definitely, have at least, a few clients and friends that have reached out and been like, man, I'm just getting rocked, so my prayers are with you. Let me know if you're needing anything. Um, and then yeah, so basically the big thing, and I did, allude to it earlier, but on May 18th, we have Rahu changing signs. Rahu has been in Pisces that will be going into Aquarius, and then Ketu moving into Leo. So when we are when we also call this in Western astrology, Rahu is the north node, Ketu is the south node. So we always want to be going towards this. I've also studied a lot of evolutionary astrology, as I mentioned before. So I like to lean into, how can we evolve? And so, from an evolutionary perspective, of course, we want to go into a um, place of higher, this higher octave of whatever it is. So this higher octave of Aquarius is about community. It's about the collective. It's about, coming together and us helping each other out. Now, of course, there's always these lower octave energies that we're going to have to fight against. So, I mean, the collective can also be this hive mind where it's just like we're not listening to, we're staying in our bubble and we're staying in our echo chamber, right? And so, of course, we've been seeing many people stuck in that since COVID time, which there was other astrological Rahu and Ketu signs, the configurations that also were creating some of that, which I talked about back then. And it was very frustrating. So, I'm really hoping that, we're growing as people and that we will continue to. Of course, there's still going to be lots of frustrating energies and, lower energies to be dealt with. But Aquarius is also, about this revolutionary thinking. It's the big vision, and it's about nonconformity and it's about unconventional things. So, um, I'm an Aquarius rising, so I get a little bit excited about Aquarius and because, this is, I mean, important for humanity. This is a really big time and yeah, so I feel really hopeful and I really hope that we can lean into, there's also like the scientific, as long as we're not going too much into like the dogma of the science, right? So we can really lean into some of this positive Aquarius, some of the things that I think are the trickier parts about Aquarius is that even though it's about the collective, it's also about the individual. And so we can become too individualistic. Aquariuses can even isolate too much and they can be unemotional. And that's definitely not something that we want to be heading towards collectively, right? Of course, also there's Aquarius can have to do with like AI and technology and all of that. And so, we can want to go forward with technology in the positive ways, but we really have to be careful of that. And yeah, I've been listening to some people that I very much respect. I may share a little bit more about that in my next video, some people that I follow, um, if you're curious, but on, how we kind of go forward in Aquarius in this positive way with technology, because I think there is a lot of positive, and I'm very excited for people to get away from having to do mundane jobs, that we can have robots do, and we just also don't want to have AI taking over the world. So that from, what I understand that's never I mean, yeah, gone well in any of the science fiction movies or stories that we've ever heard, right? So that's not we don't want to go towards Terminator, right? And so again, the K2 is the South Node in Leo, so we're leaving behind some of that individuality because the Leo can be about the expressing and identifying as that individual, which I mean is a beautiful thing, but we don't want to be too stuck in that, because again, it's just that higher octave of it. It's like, what's good for the collective here? That's what we get to lean into for the next year and a half. So I'm very excited. This is going to go through some point in November of 2026, the Rahu and Ketu energies. And, I'll keep talking more about this, but yeah, so also, um, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. I know I'm getting a little hungry, and so I really appreciate you again joining me. I'd love to hear, again, where you're at, where you're coming in from, listening in from, watching in from, and yeah, how the energies are playing out for you. So thank you so much, and please share this, please subscribe, make sure you like the video. Yeah, commenting really helps me. Thank you so much for helping me grow my channel, and I'll see you again real soon. Have a wonderful day.